Well, hello everyone. This is E.G. Sebastian. Welcome all to the Coaches Support Call. And this is a call sponsored by myclientattractionacademy.com. And today I have the honor to have a very special guest, Mike Hayes, who is a veteran of CNN and CNBC, former anchorman. And he is a lead generation and media coach. He sold more than $1 million in coaching services through the strategies that he will give you a peek into today. So I'm really excited about that because probably I will learn some cool stuff as well. And he is the founder of Keys to Success in Action, and he will help you learn proven media marketing shortcuts to promote any small business or startup on a shoestring budget. Mike, did I leave out anything?
Hello again, EG. I started as an NBC page working on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and created the Johnny Carson Talk Show game. And that's when I first became an entrepreneur. And I've been fascinated by entrepreneurs ever since.
Wonderful, wonderful. So on your website, I read something about the media shift. Can you tell us a little bit what do you mean about media shift? What's that?
Sure. Anybody who watches any media has seen that, things are really changing. The whole media industry is shifting in new ways of making money because, traditional media model has been breaking down over the years. It's been a slow process, but social media has gained and drained the audience size of traditional media companies. So they're not making money in the same way. In fact, PBS has a show called Media Shift all about this. The old free publicity model is changing to marketing and media. So I have to describe myself as both a broadcaster, because I still have a national radio show about entrepreneurs, but also a media marketing entrepreneur. And, savvy entrepreneurs see that when a door closes, as the media kind of shrinks and they're changing their monetizing model, new windows open. And creating digital speaking content to reach audiences is a new way to find audiences, get more speaking gigs. And, in my background with NBC and CNN, I now help coaches, speakers, authors to understand the new media and how they can access themselves. There's really a blend. Media companies are becoming more entrepreneurial, and entrepreneurs are becoming broadcasters. So we're all kind of in the same boat of this media shift.
That's great. So for the past few years, you've been helping coaches and speakers and authors, and I've seen some of your videos and listened to some of your interviews, and it's amazing. So how do you help? What can you do for us?
Well, sure. I started helping, and interviewing the big boys, Donald Trump, Oprah Winfrey, Steve Wozniak. I've been doing this forever and learning, what were their keys. So now with the media shift, I really focus on everyday coaches. That's really always been my interest. I mean, I grew up a kid in Michigan, hitchhiked to New York to get my first job with, with NBC in New York. So I really identify with the startup, small businesses and helping them. And today there's so many great ways. Speaking online, as you know, and offline is a great way of creating interest and really getting people to understand what you do. And isn't that the hardest thing in the world today? Is, persuading people to choose you and your business. And you can really today, and that's what I like to concentrate on, is showing people free tools to use their knowledge and their enthusiasm to speak online, but to get out and do public speaking at small groups like meetups. So the way I help is, if they don't already have their signature story, I can interview them, suggest questions, behind the scenes, behind the sales curtain. I help them by interviewing them and making suggestions of questions I can ask them to help them tell their story. Or if they already have their story, I help them capture it digitally. Or if they have that done, then I can help them amplify it online, reach out, get more speaking gigs, and reach new people to get more clients and more, networking and more speaking, either online or offline.
And this is one of the main things that captured me about you, that we are such a great match, because I help people publish books. And then once they publish their books, I can send them to you, because you can create for them this really cool media presence, this tiny short interview snippet, very professionally done. And probably Mike will provide you some way to connect with him, and he will show you some of his work. Really amazing. But also the reverse is true, that if you don't have a book yet but you want to create one, Mike can interview you, and he can get the book out of you in a shortened version, and he can create this little snippet for you. And then if you want my help, I can even just give you the mind map for free, and you can do it all on your own, or you can hire me to help you create your book in less than 90 days if you want to. So this is a JV partnership made in heaven, or a friendship or partnership made in heaven. So this is really cool stuff. I'm really excited about this stuff. So is this right for every coach, or what coaches are you working with?
Sure. What I love about it, I think it is right for every coach. A lot of people will maybe disagree, hear all the objections. I don't like presenting. I'm not a very good presenter. Where do I go to speak? I doubt it would produce any business. But, I think they've been getting a lot of old school advice. I've been in media. I know how to use teleprompters and lighting and all of that. Well, now with free accounts like SoundCloud, e.g., I teach people how to use their computers, their own teleprompter. So really, I help them get unstuck out of that out-of-date thinking, because speaking to market their business has never been easier to do than it is online today. So speaking to market your business is cost effective and powerful. And I teach you the tricks of the trades of the media pros to really help anybody. You don't have to spend months or even years of learning how to speak live. And that can be a pretty daunting task. And I think that's all part of history now, thanks to the digital age.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what I found is that, which shocked me, that public speaking and TV is extremely different, and in the sense that I know an anchorman who praised me for being a great speaker, and I told him, well, what are you talking about? You speak in front of millions every day. And he's like, well, oh no, that's very different. He says he could not stand up in front of a crowd if, if they held a gun at his head. And I'm like, wow, so come on, join our Toastmasters club. And he's like, he was thinking about it, but he freaked out. He really had a phobia of public speaking. So, even if anybody has fear of public speaking, I mean, this is a great platform. If you love public speaking or not, this is still a great platform for you to explore. Briefly tell us, do you have here on your website one a caption of how does it look?
I'd be happy to send anybody, what they look like, because, the other beauty of SoundCloud audiobooks, and SoundCloud has a whole section of audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
They look brilliant on mobile, because everybody really, my advice is start thinking about updating to mobile. I don't care who you are, but that's really the future, e.g., is having a mobile presence on your cell phone, tablet, etc. That's another way I help people, is to, a lot of people maybe have a website, but maybe it's not ideal for mobile. So how do you update it? See, if you have an audiobook on SoundCloud and it's mobile, now your audience can listen to it at the beach, walking their dog, exercising, or, however they want to do it. So when you see your audiobook on a mobile, published on SoundCloud with a book cover and everything, and you can just click on it and hear it anywhere, it's a pretty amazing experience. So, I can help people become a published author in as fast as 1 week using just 2 hours of their time. So, that's how dramatically things have changed, because 50% of every book ever written is never read, because we have short attention spans today. So audiobooks are just a great way to get your foot in the door.
That's right. That's right. And when Mike creates that audiobook for you, you see here on the screen this little screen caption. But maybe later I'll show you some more. I will send you some. So I have all of your email addresses. So when I send out the recording, I'll send you links to some of his stuff, so you can see what he can create for you. But it's something really professionally designed that you can attach to your LinkedIn profile in the signature, where you talk about yourself, and you can add it to your email signature, and Mike has it there, and it's really beautiful. You can attach it anywhere to promote yourself. And here's the doobie: Mike can also help you get the and I always say this the wrong way, as featured on or as something on CBC, CNN, CNBC, all of those things. So he will tell you about that too today.
Okay, if you'd like, there's instant credibility of having the media. Amazon owns Audible, so believe me, audiobooks have incredible credibility from iTunes to SoundCloud. And so the media respect those too. So we have multiple ways. I have my national radio shows. I started with Startups in Action, and then I evolved after 2008 to Keys to Success in Action, because I could see that everything was changing. Forget the past. I've been at this for a long time, folks. But what I used to do to succeed is ancient history. It's all about today and being current. And that's where the real opportunities are. So we have a couple of ways. We have our shows, our broadcast shows on 200 broadcast AM, FM radio stations all around the country. That's one way. But another way is targeted press releases. So we can get audio books and book covers published on, certain targeted affiliate sites. So there's a lot of ways that what I call media shortcuts, really, very cost effectively to be able to get to the status of being a thought leader. And what's a thought leader? Somebody who's recognized as a thought leader. So when you have the logos as a media citation that shows that you are recognized as a thought leader, and you put those either on your LinkedIn photo or with your audiobook, believe me, those are the ones that get you chosen first, either as a job or as a speaker. So what I suggest is to think about your core message first, get that captured, hear yourself. Either you can do it yourself, and I help people learn how to do it free on SoundCloud with a direct recording on SoundCloud. One push of a button, you can record directly. Or if you need some help, I can help with that. And then get your book cover. Your book cover is like an ad that shows instant credibility. There's probably nothing more important today with, Pinterest and, all the visual graphic social media. So it's very, very important. And when you can put that on your website and you click on it, there's your audio book. And maybe it's real short, just the top 5 things you need to know about, your topic or subject. And then all of a sudden they hear you as a person. They hear you speaking from the heart about how you got into it to help people. And instantly they've got a sense of who you are. You can't do that with text alone. There's so much text online. How do you separate yourself? So you give them a nice, short, sweet little summary. They hear your voice and instantly they like you. Then you put that right into your email signature. And from then on, for the rest of your life, you're a published author. So there's so many great things to know about today, media shortcuts, and really can stand out in great ways. And that's why I'm so excited about working with EG, because he has such a profound knowledge of the basics, the foundation. You can't build your tower on, sand or quicksand. You've got to have a solid foundation. And that's what EG is so great at providing. And so, I'm really excited to be here to talk to you and to really find ways to help anybody who's associated with EG. I'm there for, I promise you.
Cool. And just to clarify, when Mike says that he puts there your book cover, that's a book cover that you create, right, Mike?
That I create, yeah. I create that for them.
It's not a book cover of your book that you have. If you have, yeah, you can put your own book cover. But if you don't have a book, that's where Mike comes in. He can interview you on like 10 questions just to spotlight the best features of your business. Like, how do you help your coaching clients? Why should they hire you? Whatever it is, however you want to put it together, and we can help you with creating those questions. Actually, Mike will help you, but I can give you some feedback on that too. And he just interviews you and he creates you a short Audible book. Is it called Audible book? What do you call it?
It's an audiobook.
Audiobook, yes. So that's what we're talking about. If you have a book, yeah, great. Yeah, well, of course you need to put there your book cover. But if you don't have one, this is your chance to get one done by next week, or I don't know how long it would take if Mike helps you.
About a week.
Yeah, there you go. And in today's world, with not only the ADD that we are in a rush, and very few people have time to read text, but the other thing is that about, I don't know, I'm just making this number up, but half of Americans are slow readers. at least the ones that live around me. And there are lots of dyslexics. And even if you discount that, when there's a world of text and there is an image will attract the eyes. And if that image, and by the way, so we are in the middle of this video series, right? And we talked last week about building credibility and trust. So just imagine if somebody is considering hiring a coach, and they consider, let's say, 5 different coaches, and 4 of them, they just have a website like, I'm a coach, I help you go from point A to point B. I'm certified NLP, I'm certified Ikebana, this and that. And one of the coaches has this cool audiobook, has this cool graphic, and has this stuff that I was featured on CBC, CNN, CNBC, all of this stuff. Who will you choose? I mean, just think about if you had to hire a coach. So anyway, this is really cool stuff, and this is really something that can boost your credibility and trust factor. So that's why I wanted to bring in Mike. We just talked about this yesterday, so that's why we're kind of winging this, because we didn't prepare much. We just said, let's do it, because this is the right timing for you to hear this message.
The point is there's 2 ways to do it. If you are on one of my shows, then you can reach an audience of 5 million people. But that is more difficult. The point is that the top earners.
In fact, here is
documentation of a 7-figure earner who started earning $1 million because of the point of having the as featured on status. Because otherwise, you're just an also-ran. You just look to outside people like everybody else if you don't have that instant credibility. Because that's, like E.G. said, you get about 1 second to grab somebody's attention.
Now, the most powerful trust sources are these 4 networks. CBS, ABC, NBC, and Fox have been around forever. Everyone in the world, even outside of the United States, recognizes these media sources. When you're in one of these media sources, you are at the highest level of authority there is. When you're in all 4 of these media sources, what happens is a phenomenon called agreement. Agreement. There is now agreement that you must be the best at what you do. You must be the authority, because not just one of these went and wanted to talk to you, they all talked to you. And they all put you on their TV networks or their radio networks or their web pages. So when you want to learn about LinkedIn and you're trying to decide who do you want to learn from, I want to learn from the guy that there's agreement about is the absolute best. That's the guy who's been on all 4 of these networks. Now, by the way, how much would it be worth to any business owner or professional to get guaranteed placement into the media, such as ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox? And then to be able to use those logos, not just on LinkedIn, but on your web page, your business cards, and in all of your marketing. Tell me in the chat box a dollar figure how much it would mean to your business or your client's business to have that type of authority and agreement about you being the best. And keep in mind, once you have it forever. I'm seeing huge, invaluable, priceless, $10,000 a month, $100,000, $1 million. Realize these numbers you're giving me are just a fraction of the value, because it's over a lifetime that you'll accumulate these value. So when you put in thousands, it's not just the thousands you're going to get this year, but it's the thousands you get every year for the rest of your life once you're in that media.
And there are 2 ways to do it. You can do it through getting on the published website of these sites so that you qualify. Otherwise, you get in trouble if you're not actually doing it. But in media, there's no limit to how much media exposure you could get. You could spend $5,000 a month getting as much media exposure, as possible, but that's not necessarily going to bring more money into your bank account. So what you want to do is you want to get to that status in the least amount of time. We have 2 ways of doing it, either through the $500 approach or actually being featured in a feature story on one of my shows.
And that is just an additional $500
to reach the audience of 5 million people, a weekly audience, 5 million people across our 200 broadcast AM radio stations. So it's really just a choice. Everybody's different. And that's why I hold consultations to help people to really understand what is right for them without spending more money or more time than necessary.
So actually, let's say if Corina hires you, her message would actually be on CBS, NBC, CNN, whatever, all these websites. In some form, her message would be on those websites, right?
Yeah, I would do a radio feature and play it on our network, our syndicated network, on all two, and then it airs across the nearly 200 radio stations and Hollywood Reporter. And I will show Karina exactly where it airs and the list of affiliates, and but I have to do that one-to-one, Karina. But I will show it to you exactly where it airs, the list of affiliates, everything you want to know about it. And then I produce a 60-second feature story, and then I run it on our stations, and then that's just another way to do it. But again, it does take more money to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's different. So I try to make it inclusive, not exclusive, and not trying to raise the financial bar, but keep the bar as low as possible and help people get in where they fit in. Everybody's different.
Yeah. And but yeah, that's another thing that you can make happen, that this little audiobook, and I don't know, is it the audiobook, but you can put those on radio shows.
Yeah, we can promote it on our radio shows and drive
national
traffic
shows.
Right to a website with the audiobook on it. And actually, this is it's like going to college. I don't want to talk at a master's level, because there's freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors. But there are ways that I can help people create digital information products on SoundCloud, create an affiliate program, a revenue sharing affiliate program to recruit resellers of their product, and then get my friends in the media on the radio stations to play commercials of their digital information product in exchange for a commission of the products that are sold. But that's really an advanced course. I don't want to confuse anybody.
Yeah.
So there's no limit to what can be done. It's a matter of how do you get your foot in the water and get started.
Sounds good. Great question, Corina. Thank you for that. Yes, because that's important. So Mike, I know that you help people also find their ideal clients. You help with actual lead generation, and that was another thing that attracted me to you, because lots of people came to me saying, "Can you generate leads for me?" Lead generation, right? So we are in business. What we want to sell. Yeah, some of us will say that we want to make the world a better place. We just want to coach, but we want to do it for money. So if we reverse engineer this whole business, the coaching business, the top of it is we have to get money from a client. We have to generate income. We have to sell. Without selling, there's no business. In order to sell, you need leads. You can call it whatever you want, potential clients, prospects, call it whatever you want. But you need people. You need people who you can sell to. And Mike helps you actually generate those leads. So if anybody's interested, he has a service where he actually puts you in front of thousands of people, or I think the starter pack is 1,000 people, and he connects you with them. Anyway, my question to you, Mike, is how do you know, how do you find the ideal audience for somebody?
What you said is so important. Let's think of a traditional TV station. It has two things. One, it has a studio to create content, and two, it has an antenna to broadcast the content out to reach people. So everything comes down to those two core things: is content, what your story is, and distribution to an audience of the correct people. So that's still true today. So let's address it from that standpoint to help people understand it. So today, you can create digital information content like on SoundCloud that we're talking about. Well, how do you broadcast out? Well, now you want to target. Now, we can get leads from LinkedIn, Facebook, but really, Facebook, you can reach people that just don't have the money you need them to have to hire you and pay you what you're worth. People on LinkedIn make twice as much money as people on Facebook, and LinkedIn has become super organized in two ways. One, for B2B, it's almost like an online trade show. And then B2C, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get too technological in marketing. So business to business or business to consumer, because what happens, I don't care who's on LinkedIn, if they join a group, maybe they join a weight loss group, maybe they're a pro, but they want to join a weight loss group or a sleep group or whatever. So then they become consumers that you can target. Let's say you were coaching people how to get more sleep or how to build relationships. So we have software and we have a research team to take the new strength of LinkedIn. Whatever you thought of LinkedIn in the past, throw that out the window. That's over. It's no longer just a job site. It's much more about an entrepreneur trade show of networking to get your story out there. So people have like a trade show booth, and we are able to highly target them. Now, there's no one size fits all, right? And every entrepreneur is different. I do a personal interview one-on-one with anybody who wants to get, targeted leads that are their avatar, their ideal client. I find out who they are, what they like, how they want to work, what their offer is, what the price is, etc. And then from that, I'm learning, a lot more about you, your story, but also how to target those people. Now, a lot of people get turned off by technology. So we've helped there. We've taken it another step. We do it for you. So here's how we do it. We interview you to learn more about who your target person is. Then we take that information, put a research team to work to go out and to track those people down, find them, to give you their name, their email, and their LinkedIn profile. Now, that's a key for building instant credibility and warmth and friendliness. Hey, we're both in the same LinkedIn group, here's your LinkedIn profile. Now, this is called mail merge. So, when we can send an email that has their first name, the personalization for them of their LinkedIn profile, and we write the email for you based on that interview that I did with you. I write the email, I lay it out so it'll be mail merged out to them, very personalized for you. I send it to you for your approval. Once you approve it, then we also distribute it for you to them directly. Now, the majority of the time, we also get their phone number. I'm going to address that next in a moment. The other thing we do is we send you what is called a CSV file so that this is not a list that's bought. There's a million people that can do that. No, this is targeted research for you to go out and find them for you. So we send those to you. And if anybody uses Google for work, which is only $5 a month, and then you can have Google answer any questions you want, including helping you upload a CSV file of these contacts into your own Gmail contact list if you want. And that's part of the coaching that I do to help. But then we also do that mail merge distribution for you. Now, people think, oh my gosh, 1,000 people. Are you kidding? I'd be overwhelmed by that, Mike. That's way too much. No, that's not the way to look at it. The way to look at it is we do it step by step, like list building. 1,000 people are not going to contact you. I used to advertise in USA Today to millions of people. Only about 100, 150 people contacted me every month. And that's how I sold $1 million a year worth of my own coaching. They'd contact me and I'd send them an audiobook, and that would tell the story, and they could share it with their wife or partner to understand, oh yeah, it does sound like a good idea. And I sold for about, over 15 years. I advertised every month in USA Today and spent $3,000 a month. Well, now, you can just go to target the exact people you want. And it's like, think of it like the faucet in your kitchen sink. If you're getting too much water's coming out, you don't stand there, you turn it off. Well, think about this. If you have an abundance of leads that are cost effective, highly targeted for you, you're really in the catbird seat to be able to target, test, observe, adjust, expand. If you get too much response, you simply send them an email or have us send them an email and say, I'm sorry, we've had such a successful response. I literally cannot take any more clients right now. But I do have my premium program available. So you can either wait until I'm able to take, my normal level clients to group clients or however you want to position it, or you can actually charge more because you can cherry pick when you have an abundance of leads. It's not just about the money, but it's about the business of speaking, because the more important work that you do is, the more important to make money so you can help more people. So when it comes to the business of speaking, it is about the money. So we target people. We help you control the flow so that you can develop a system like I had for years. My system was simple. Simple. I only worked 7 a.m. to 4 Monday through Friday, made $1 million a year because I had a very simple system. 1, 2. Ad in USA Today, send them an audiobook. That was it. I wasn't working 24 hours a day trying to get somebody's attention doing social media. I had a very targeted system. And now I've duplicated that in the digital age using targeted leads and simple audiobooks to get their attention. So that's kind of how it works. I'll explain it to you. I need to do a strategy session with anybody who's interested. It's free, no obligation. You know, we're pros. And we just listen and make suggestions. If they're of interest, great. If they're not, fine, no problem. But, you know, we learn more about each other, we network, and maybe you'd be right for one of our shows. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways to approach it, but we try to make it very simple and straightforward.
And Mike has a bunch of different services, so if anybody wants to sit down with Mike, and there will be no pressure. So if you invest in something, that's great. If not, you will walk away with lots of knowledge, with more in your pocket. So I definitely encourage you to do that. And so yeah, I bought lists in the past. I bought leads in the past, and it cost me, I believe the lowest I paid was $550 for 2,500 very targeted leads. Now the problem is that, yeah, lots of other people also invested in that, but that's it. You get the list and then you have to do something with it. I don't know if I should fess up about this list, because this very targeted list that I bought that I'm just mentioning right now, I never done anything with it. For a lesson, for a learning point here, I will confess that I never done anything with it. I spent $550 and never used that list. Now, when you invest in this service with Mike's lead generation, he does it for you. so you only get involved when somebody replies back and they says, yeah, tell me more. Or I want to, or they click on the set appointment button and they set up an appointment with you. So you know, it's way, way different than just buying leads. So that's really cool. And what I want to mention is that there's a math to this. And successful entrepreneurs, they know their math. They know their numbers. They know exactly how much it costs them to buy a customer also. And they know how much a customer or a lead is worth to them. So they know that if they buy 1,000 leads, each lead is worth to them, I don't know, $15 or whatever, because out of those 1,000, they will make $15,000. So people who believe in their business, in their service, they buy their customers. They do Google AdWords, Facebook ads, newspaper ads. They have a budget. They spend $50,000 on ads, and they know that from the leads they generate from those ads and from those promotions, they will generate $200 or $300 or $1 million. So when we're talking about lead generation, usually about 97% of the people who you talk to, like let's say today in a webinar, I have 100 people. Probably only 3% are ready to buy something. If I'm lucky, maybe 10%. When you send out 1,000 emails, maybe only 100 or 50 will write you back. But the key is you have the scripts in place, so everything is in place. So you just have to do the free session, the complimentary session, and then get them as client. And that's why it's important also to have a membership program or a home study program, because yeah, if you do get too good response, because if you target it really well, if you target managers, let's say you send out a message about helping them improve their productivity, reduce overwhelm, accomplish more, delegate more effectively, well, guess what? Your response rate will be way higher, because lots of managers deal with that. And you cannot coach all of them. So that's when you tell them that, unfortunately, I cannot take on one-on-one clients any longer, but I have my membership program, or I have a home study course, or a video course, whatever you have. But that's something I can help you build. So if you need help with that, then you talk to me about building that home study course. And this is not a sales call, so you don't have to buy anything. We're not pushing you to buy anything. I'm just telling you about your options here. You told us how you work with people, okay? And is there like any kind of secret to making this work? Like, does somebody have to be like more experienced coach, or can somebody be like completely a newbie?
Yeah. You know, what I'm good at, and I've been doing this for a long time. NBC used to have me work with authors to, maybe they'd written a book to, you know, like Dr. Joyce Brothers, you know, how to turn them into broadcasters. So what my goal is as a person is to help them learn how to succeed with their story because of who they are, flaws and all, not in spite of that. So, I have a very grant them beingness kind of attitude of, let them be who they are and help them tell the story, listen to it, make it marketable. But people like people. People need people. And, it's fine to not be perfect. You probably have a lot more expertise in your head about your topic than anybody else. So to them, you are the expert. And so as long as you're providing people something useful and entertaining, they want useful sources, trends, ideas, innovations, something you can do to help them to solve an everyday problem. That's really the key. But they don't know that. So you have to tap them on the shoulder and say, hey, do you have this problem or that problem? I can help solve it. Oh, wow, perfect. And so that's why advertising is so important, is just to get the word out. And then they want to learn more. They perk their head up. They want to learn more. And then you can simply give them the top 5 reasons that this is, before they go spend a lot of money someplace else, this is something they need to know before they do anything else. So it's very simple. Now, I'll tell you another option, okay? Right now, we're in the season of politics, and believe me, there's robocalls and all kinds of crazy things going on. Love them or hate them, and most people hate them, and I understand that. But they do work, and I'm getting calls a lot from some of the very top marketers too. So that's another option. When we do the targeted leads, we also get phone numbers, and they can be used, and very simply and elegantly. It could be as simple as this. It could be a 15-second phone call left on just their voicemail. You don't even have to talk to them. Just calling to say, hey, G, it's Mike, and just wanted to let you know I sent you an email. I know you're busy. I may have gone to your spam folder. I don't know. But I just want to tell you I sent it on this date at this time. Just check that out. And if that's of interest, give me a call back. So there's so many different ways to work when you have the new technology that you don't have to do yourself. You can target. You can use different tools, arrows in your quiver. Not everything's right for everybody, but we can help you pick and choose because everybody's different. Some are more aggressive, some more conservative, and we help you find what's right for you.
And yeah, I love that. I love that phone call to the answering machine. I think that's really powerful. I think that's second as powerful as a direct phone call. So that's really cool. So yeah, Mike has some great services. If you're a newbie, then you need the services because right now sometimes you feel lost and you don't know what to do. So Mike can guide you through some of those mazes. And if you are already established, then Mike can help you get to the next level. Mike, as he mentioned in the beginning, he worked with like some amazing names. Did you say Tony Robbins?
Yeah, Wozniak, Geraldo. I did a show called Keys to Success. I interviewed the most successful entrepreneurs in the world. And I learned 2 main things. One, that the media played a key role in their financial success. And 2, I caught the bug and wanted to become an entrepreneur. So that's why I left broadcasting to get into media marketing and publicity to help entrepreneurs. And I got hired by a genius who marketed a product called Triple Edge windshield wipers. I don't know if any of you remember that, to $600 million in sales by setting up media joint ventures to share revenues with the media. So when I learned about sharing revenues with the media and I learned about how you can create digital information products, well, I could see there's so many opportunities that people just are not aware of. That's when I really recognized, this is the time for me to kind of blend my 2 areas of expertise, broadcasting and media marketing together, to have one foot on, each side of the street, to be able to help entrepreneurs in different ways that are available they probably don't know about. And I truly believe I can find the right solution for virtually anybody, small, large, old, new, aggressive, conservative. Everybody's different. You just have to share and be candid and transparent and have a little fun. And, and like you, with your great speaking experience, E.G., to human resource, directors and managers, that's brilliant. And what you done already, and that, now we can target human resource directors right on LinkedIn to really help and amplify, what anybody's doing. So
Mhm.
I think it's just a very exciting time to be a coach, speaker, and entrepreneur.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I will put it here in my notes that I want you to tell all of the people on the call the story you told me yesterday about the struggling guy with the cleaning floor cleaning thing, because that's very powerful. And I will remind you in a second. But as you were telling,
Okay.
as you were mentioning here some examples, I just remembered it, and I thought that was really powerful. And do you see your screen, Mike?
Yeah, right there. The book that you're looking at, is that what you're talking about? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm
So
looking at?
that's an example of what kind of signature Mike could create for you, and
Yes,
the book
absolutely.
cover and this is clickable. So when people click on it, they can get to the audio file. And
Let me address that for
go
one
ahead.
second, EG. I mean, that's part of the fun of this. Imagine that in the signature, right? You click on it, and the viewer, it shows them, if it's on SoundCloud, a 3-minute audio introduction of you. Well, what one of the coolest things about SoundCloud is that they see it, they click on it, they get a quick summary, but SoundCloud then rolls over to your next track. So they get started, they go, wow, that's great. They don't have to do a thing. They just sit there. Maybe they turn to pick up a cup of coffee and your next track starts, and maybe that's 20 minutes, like an infomercial about you. So it's really great fun if you really understand this stuff and how to put it to work as a tool.
And this is an amazing credibility builder, because if just imagine, so this is the signature ends where it says LinkedIn leads to attract higher paying clients. That's the end of the signature, that red bar.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
right.
imagine if your ideal client is, I will give two examples. Okay, if you work with people who want to lose weight, and your signature says, did you fail at all kind of weight loss, blah blah blah. Um, See how I lost, or see how I help my clients lose weight, click here for free information, or something like that. Or do you feel stressed, overwhelmed, and unproductive? And when somebody feels like that, their eyes opens right away, and they see your book cover. The book says 7 steps to becoming productive and eliminating overwhelm or something. And then so they see all this info, they click on it, they get to that audio file, they listen to that audio, and as Mike was saying, once that audio is done, they get to the next audio snippet. So you can set up a whole podcast every week. You can create a short one, 5, 10 minutes, and with time it grows into a library. But this is how you develop that trust. People do business with people who they know, like, and trust, and this way they get this feeling like they know you. And so this is really amazing. So let me just reverse a little bit to the we were looking at this. CNN, featured on CNN, CNBC, and all this. So if you have this on your website, so that's one thing. But even if you don't have that, let's just imagine for a moment that Mike interviews you and creates you this audiobook, right? You can put it on your website that you got interviewed by Mike Hayes, the founder of
Keys to Success in Action.com.
that's right, who
And a
also
former
interviewed.
CNN correspondent. So I want to help you tell your story. So we work out the questions first. What questions can I ask you to bring out your story? So then you're totally comfortable. Then we can even bring in audio editing, e.g. So you can't flub. We make it really, really simple, kind of
Mhm,
mistake proof, really.
mhm. And you did that for you just took out a piece of one of my webinars, and when I listened to it, I'm like, whoa, because you probably took out my
Right.
ahs and ums, and it was just this beautiful, passionate, because when we talk about our passion, we forget about ourselves, and we just let go, and I'm like, whoa, that's me. So that's really great. But what I'm trying to say, that you say that you were interviewed by Mike Hayes, and you put all of his accolades and all that, who also interviewed Oprah and Tony Robbins, and you put all those names on there. So now your name is on the same page with all these big people, and when your clients come to your website, your credibility will rise about 59,000% just by association with those names on your page. So I think this is some crazy, amazing stuff.
Every story is different. And do you want me to tell you the story now
Yes,
about
please. Yes,
the
please.
guy that?
Yes.
Okay, because I think this is in essence, and I said this to him when he came to me, and here's the story. He was a contractor, and he was paid his company to clean schools. Learned that he had to develop some new, goop in a bottle, really, to help him clean these filthy, terrible showers, jocks in high school would leave behind it. He developed a product that could really clean those up, just like a whistle. So he thought, man, this would be a great on TV. So he spent $50,000 of his own money to produce a commercial and the airtime and run it on air. And, he was very, very excited. He knew the product was great and it worked. He spent $50,000. He did not sell one single solitary unit of his product. But he's an optimist and he thought, okay, I think I learned how to do it right this time. Believe it or not, he spent another $50,000. Different story. And the same airtime and everything. Again, he did not sell one single unit. When I met him, he was down and out, feeling pretty miserable. In fact, he described himself to me as a miserable failure. And he said, gosh, I've spent all this money. I've got this product that works. Do you think you can help me? So I interviewed him, and I learned from the interview that he was using to describe his product that were actually diminishing the perceived value of the product dramatically, to the point where nobody would buy it because of how he was describing it. He didn't know any better. So he was describing his product as a cleaner and trying to sell it for $20. So every, America, whoever does any cleaning knows you can buy it for $5. Why would you go and buy a $20 cleaner from somebody you don't know? So I said to him, we've got to use different words to describe this product. So what we should do is start calling it a tile and grout restorer, not a cleaner. And then we can compare it to different things that are a lot more expensive. Like, how would you get new tile in your bathroom or kitchen? Well, you could hire a contractor. You could spend, $1,500 and have all the dust and dirt and the family all upset. Or you can simply restore it for $20. So with that comparison, now we made the consumer feel like a genius instead of an idiot. So we wanted to show them that respect that, we're not asking you to spend $20 for something that's only worth $5. We're telling you to spend $20 on something that's worth, maybe $1,500. Well, we went on from zero in sales to sell $200 million worth of that product over a number of years. And I just saw the other day, it's still running on the air. He just kind of relaunched it. But the words of how you describe things make all the difference. It's the value proposition. How do you build the value in the mind of the consumer? Because that's what it is. It's a business. It's show business. You show them, like Steve Jobs said, people don't know what they want until you show it to them. They don't know about you until you tell them about yourself. So what I do is I listen to your value proposition. Are you using words that will limit the value of what you're offering or build up the value of what you're offering in the mind of the consumer? Get that story into their mind quickly, effectively, and all of a sudden, you've got a life-changing proposition that can change your life, change your family's life, change your kids' life, send them to college. I mean, he built a $200 million fortune, and he's got a horse ranch in Boulder, Colorado, and he's got his own cook. I mean, he's living large, believe me. So it can be very exciting when you really understand the industry. And that's why I believe the most important thing I can do is bring the insider connections and education to people. And that's what I'm doing.
And yeah, I love that story, because that story illustrates a couple of concepts. One of them is that the words we speak and the words we put on paper, the words we put online, are extremely powerful. And the power of some words lays into its ability to be invisible. Somebody comes to your website, they take a glance at it, and literally 2-3 seconds, really. If they find you through the search engines, they come to your website, they look at it, and in like 2 or 3 seconds, they skedaddle. They get out of there. Because your words don't tell them anything, and there are no images to attract their eyes, there are no headlines to attract their eyes, or you have headlines, but the headlines doesn't tell them anything. It says, welcome to Jennifer Johnson's website. I'm a life coach. I'm Ikebana certified. Bang, they are gone. So the power of the word. But if you have a headline that talks directly to your ideal client, Are you a successful professional who struggles in their personal life? Are you looking to find the love of your life and you've been struggling, whatever? And then they see a beautiful book cover, find the love of your life for busy professionals. And I'm just making this stuff up here so it doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean. So those who have that problem, that challenge, they will stay on your website. So anything, any focus that you pick. So the power of the word, and perception is reality. Perception is reality. When I started coaching, I had 15 years of business success, very successful business behind me, making more than $10,000 a month in a country where people were making $200 a month. I was making not 10 times, but 100 times more, or close to 100 times more per month. And when I started coaching, I had that confidence in me, and I knew that I would build an amazing coaching business. And a year later, I only had one client. I knew coaches who didn't have a degree, didn't have the background that I had, and they were making six figures, and I was ashamed and embarrassed for my family because I was not making any money. So I hired a coach, and I started going to training events and boot camps and all that. But my question was, how come that these guys, they make all this money, and I can't attract clients? I mean, I have a degree in business management. I have business experience. What's wrong? What's going on here? I mean, depression was setting in, right? And so what I learned was that, yeah, perception is reality. If they see you online as a successful person, if they perceive you as successful online, then they will hire you. If they don't, then they won't. So this is crucial to set up this credibility and trust puzzle pieces, and Mike can provide you a major one. And I will bring back Mike a couple of more times probably if his time will allow. So this is really great. So Mike, if somebody wants to set up with you a one-on-one strategy session, how can they go about that?
Sure. I'll give this a couple of times, but it's real simple. You can reach me at mike@bigideasexpress.com, mike@bigideasexpress.com, because I want to help you get your big ideas expressed and get them out there quickly. Or you can simply call me. I am available because I'm semi-retired. I've been doing this for a long time. I live in a beautiful house. My wife's an international flight attendant, flies all over the world. And, you know, I don't want to sit around twiddle my thumbs while she's gone. I have a great life. I love what I'm doing. I like to be, you know, helpful and productive and enjoy it. So I make myself available. You can reach me at 415-781-9296. I'm always on the phone because in this industry, I'm known as the network king. I network. I make it my business to know everybody I can in the industry. That's what I love doing. So you might have to leave a message, but I'll get back to you. You can email me again if you didn't get to write it down. And of course, you can get it from EG, but you can reach me, mike@bigideasexpress.com. And, you know, just we'll chat. If you're not right for it right now, we can talk and find out what you are up to. If I can't help you, maybe I can refer you to somebody who can. Happy to help, happy to listen, because, you know, I interviewed Subra Iyer. He sold his company for $1.5 billion. And then he started a new company because he said, Mike, I got tired of sitting around the pool all day. You know, So I don't care who you are. Work is the reward. If you enjoy it, you have fun with it, you love doing it, it's great. And that's where I am. So I'm happy to pay back and help in ways that I can. And so get a hold of me, mike@bigideasexpress.com, 415-781-9296. We'll chat and get to know each other. Just have fun.
Cool. And I put that information in the chat box. Please, somebody let me know that you can see that there. And let me see.
One final thought, if I may, on to kind of wrap up that story.
Thanks, go ahead.
One idea I put in my friend's mind, he's my friend now, but who had been the miserable failure, was, I said, think of it like cracking the combination to a vault. Let's say you didn't have the combination to a safe, and you're trying to figure out the correct combination. And maybe you've got 4 out of the 5 tumblers to fall in place. You're only 1 tumbler away, but that darn vault is still locked up tight. You feel like, oh, man, all this work and it's still locked up tight. But when you get that one final piece of the puzzle to fall in place and that combination clicks and the door opens and you get to what the treasure inside that, is yours, you just have to be, persevere, keep after it, and get the right final combination, and you could be there as quick as 1 week if the right audiobook is done and distributed. It can be that fast.
I'm going to let my client tell you the story himself.
The reality is I was about to quit till I met you. We happened to meet you at that point in time. We were down with our fulfillment company, and here's this guy, and what does he do? He works in connection with the direct response industry, helps people get involved, and teaches in the industry from what I sat in your seminar, and we went to lunch that day. I got a phone call one day sitting in Pasadena, California, sitting in my truck, doing my construction company, and it was one of the companies you had introduced me to, calling me on my cell phone saying, I need another product to go on Value Vision. So he had two, needed a third. So I said, fine, we made the inventory, we sent it out to Minnesota, and we presented for the first time to the public. And we sold out within 5 minutes. I came home all excited, and that was the beginning of a $200 million run. I went on the air and we sold out the 5,000 units, and we then had a $50,000 a month cash flow in which to build the business. And by the end of January, we were doing $1 million a month on television, very, very profitably. Only to go, how come I got so much money in the bank? So what we did is we went to QVC with Restore 4 and did the same shtick. We did about $83,000 net in airing dollars. So I took that money and made a long-form infomercial, which really put us over the top as far as financially, and we've never looked back since then. Finally launched into retail, and our first round was in Costco, and that we made our first $1 million in Costco. Give you progression. We did 300,000 our first year, we did 7 million, we did 15 million, we did 42 million, we did 63 million. It's truly an enigma in the industry. It's just like the Energizer Bunny that wouldn't die. And you hit a huge peak, you'll hit like 300,000 or more. And in year 4, we hit $485,000 a week profitably in its 4th year. And we just kept tweaking it a little bit. We changed the offer, we changed the look of it. It never died, it never just ended. And it was continuously on the air for 5 years, never off for a day.
Products don't sell themselves. Isn't it more about the unique selling proposition?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's very, very simple, the analogy of a cleaner versus a restorer. I had a guy look at me saying, how the heck are you going to sell a tile cleaner for $20? The truth is you don't sell a tile cleaner for $20. You can sell a restorer for $20 because what's it cost to replace a bathtub? A couple $1,000 to rip it out and do all the plumbing and everything else. What's it cost to replace a shower? What's it cost to replace a sink? So our concept was to save the money from replacing. Actually, our trademark slogan was don't replace it, restore it. There's a concept, there's a niche. We were doing $1 million a month before I finally gave my day job up. We were doing $1 million a month. I was still in my garage in Northridge, California. We had 2 garage offices before I finally stepped up to the plate and got an office. To this day, I'm still very conservative. We put most of the money away for a rainy day.
So how do you distinguish what are the right media companies for you? Because there's so many different ones. Because I think that's how we see ourselves, is to be a virtual trade show of looking at all the possibilities and boiling it down to the industry leaders and the key people.
I would agree with that, and I'd take it one step further. All my original connections, if you take everything back down, comes to our luncheon meeting. Okay, before I met you, there was no one that I really had met. I don't know when you're going to ask me this question, but I'm going to go to it right now. We've worked really well together for many, many years, and I will give a recommendation to you as to what you can do as one of the best, if not the best out there, if not the only person out there that will hold your hand when it's appropriate and kick you in the butt when you need it and tell you what's real and what's not real. To go about it in a more conservative way, give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, I mean, the cost that it takes to get involved with you is minimal compared to what you could lose if you just tried it on your own.
Is this analogy true, that a working commercial or infomercial is kind of like a sales robot? In life, we're all limited to how many hours we have in the day, but when you capture that perfect sales pitch and you put it up in the media and you go to sleep.
How would you like to make 35 grand a night in your sleep? Because that's what I was doing on a bad night. And on a good night, I was making a couple $100 grand a night. It's actually better than that because it's when you're awake going to the bathroom, it's still working. And when you're sleeping, it's still working. And when you're having lunch, it's still working. It's still out there. So it's not only at night, you're waking up, you really don't know how much you've made because it's still working. And we were selling 3,000 units on a Monday morning.
Super, super. Guys, if you have any questions for Mike, please put them in the chat box, or you can raise your hand, click on that hand thingy, and I will open your line to ask your question live. Also, if you have questions for me, you can put those in there, and when we will wind up the interview with Mike, then I will stay online and on the line, and I will answer your questions. And if Mike wants to hang out, he can hang out too, and maybe he can give his input as well. And just let me just tell you a cool thing, one more cool thing about Mike. Mike puts in live workshops all the time, and he puts them on often in free places that are available in your community, and he has this system down where he puts on these free events. Lots of people show up, they have to RSVP and all that, and then, well, lots of people, as many people as he wants. He likes the number 13, I believe, or 12. Then he converts, he has a system in place, a process, that then he converts them into one-on-one free coaching session, and then into clients. And maybe we'll invite him over to tell us about that process. Or maybe when you have your one-on-one session, he can catch you up on some of that, because I think that's powerful. That's something that I would love to interview you on how do you do that. So anyway,
Sure.
That's something that I remembered you mentioned also yesterday. So I hope that I will have Mike around for the next 20 years and have lots and lots of interviews with him, because I think we can learn a lot from him.
Well, and I feel the same way. I want to come back. Anybody who wants to try to get started with SoundCloud EG, I would love to come back and do sessions to, hey, Mike, I tried this, or what about that, or help walk them through it, because that is a key. It gives you a way to get started, get practicing. You can't be bad because, you record something privately, you hit delete, and it's gone, and you do it again. I want to be really encouraging, really motivating to do it, try it. You cannot fail. It's like opening off Broadway. Give a chance to be bad so you can get good through practice. And then you just hit delete and try it again. So I really cannot tell you how committed support people to get over to soundcloud.com, start an account. I'll help you do it, and to make it successful and develop an audiobook, digital information products, a teleclass, how to use theater of the mind to really tap into the excitement level of the people you want to communicate with. So anything I can do, EG, to support you and the group, believe me, I'm here for you.
Thank you. But we have Dan. Dan has a question, so I muted you, Dan.
Oh, hey, thank you. I'd just like to thank Mike and EG, both of you, for doing this today. A lot of great information. When you talk about SoundCloud, and I had a note here, something about creating an audiobook in a couple hours. Can you go into that a little bit more? Is that, I get the part about the interview and having, kind of that introductory piece. But actually doing the book, is that interview, or is there another part where you interview and you really kind of develop an outline, then go back and, I would put together basically the chapters in the script? Is that how that works?
Yeah, good question, Dan. Thanks for allowing me to clarify that. I do that in 2 sections. So yeah, we sit down. In fact, just to kind of make this point, there's a fun movie. It's won awards called Joy. It's about Joy Mangano, who I met and interviewed at QVC. And about 1/3 into it, it goes into showing you behind the scenes how QVC works. And selling products and everything. So it's kind of interesting and it's educational. You get a look behind the sales curtain. So let's look at it that way, that I do the first call to have a behind the sales curtain call with you. It's just you and me chatting and nobody's listening and we're just having fun. We can talk football, talk whatever, basketball, and we get down into how, what's your story? Tell me a little bit about what you're doing, why what brought you to this point, so I can really tap into you, your motivation, what lights your fire, and then I make some suggestions. We go back and forth about, what is really going to help bring out the best Dan, to tell your story. So you're comfortable. You get to know me. You're talking to a friend, and then we go, okay, and now I'd like you to think about this. I'll think about it. Write up some line items of, and I record it, Dan, and I send it to you for your review, so you can share it with a friend, your partner, wife, whoever. And I do recommend for men to always share it with a woman in your life, because how many buyers are women? So you always want to make sure that you get the best of all the brain power into it. Then you think about it, and you know that when I interview you, I am on your side. I am going to do everything I can to help you be comfortable, bring out your best story, talk to me. Mike, I blew it. Well, no problem. Let's do it again. Take two. Let's do that chapter over. And I edit, as EG said, I'm really, and I hate to say this, but I'm a master editor. I mean, I'm like somebody who can really sew clothes well or something. I can really edit audio brilliantly, and I won 2 Peabody Awards for documentaries I produce. So, I know I'm a very, very excellent editor. It's just a skill that I have. So I bring that to the table. I bring my interview experience to the table, and then I interview you. And my goal, and sometimes we enhance the audio a little bit, or do things to kind of add a little spice to it, like all the pros do. And then I send you the final product. It's 100% guaranteed. You listen to it. If you don't like it, we redo it. So I try to make it real simple, comfortable, fun, and fast.
Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for that question. Then that was a great question. Yes, and yeah. So you have to make sure that the question that Mike asks you are questions that bring out the best of them, as he said it. And yeah, just with the Restore Shine, compared it to somebody doing a service for $1,500, cleaning that floor, making it shine. Instead, you spend $20. So, but same thing. So he will help you. Words are very powerful if they are used correctly. And
Right.
so if you call yourself just life coach, if you get in the front of the right people, like wealthy people who have lots of money, and they feel lost, then you can get hired, but that's very hard. But if you call yourself something else that's more targeted, then you will have a better chance to get hired. And Mike will help you kind of narrow down your title, the name of your service, and I will be glad to give you feedback, absolutely at no cost. So you just, when you're talking about your title and your niche, I will be glad to give you some feedback on that. So let me see. We have a bunch of questions here. Thank you so much, Mike, for the information. SoundCloud sounds very interesting, and I'm excited with the interview. Was wondering if Mike could target people from India too. So this is from Prita. So what do you think, Mike? Would this work for somebody who's in India?
Yeah, and it's hugely popular, in many countries, UK or whatever. So yes, there's many ways to target worldwide. And again, once you have a digital information product with free downloads, you can sell products globally, not only give them away, but you can, if you start with SoundCloud, like anybody who contacts me for the interview, I will send you my entire SoundCloud channel. And it has what I call engagers. Now, these are little 3 to 5 minute audios with a frequently asked question, so that you get to choose your own adventure. Not, maybe there's 20 frequently asked questions, maybe only 2 or 3 are of interest to you. So you look at the list of questions, you click on just the ones of interest to you, so you get right to the good stuff, immediately, a 3 or 5 minute answer, until you feel good about it. Well, then you learn with SoundCloud, you get feedback from your prospects. Oh, gee, that question keeps coming up. Well, you simply create another SoundCloud answer, and then it's up there permanently. So you keep improving it. It's a much more scientific approach. It's not just throw it against the wall and you only get one chance to hit a home run. You might hit a single, then next time you hit a double, a triple, a home run, or a grand slam home run. But when you have a scientific approach, it's far less risk, it's much more stable, and there's greater odds of achieving success. And SoundCloud is a great way to do that. SoundCloud is global, LinkedIn is global, so yes, I can help.
Yeah, anywhere there's internet, this will work. And just imagine if you are one of the few in India who has something like this, like a signature audiobook and everything, or at least some of the stuff that we talked here about. And when potential clients see that you understand their challenge better than themselves, because sometimes people, let's say somebody gets promoted as a manager, and then they get to your website and it says, are you a new manager who is struggling accomplishing goals and feels overwhelmed, and then somehow they click on your book and they get to your audiobook, and you say, being a manager, especially a new manager, can be very challenging. And they say, yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me. And then you say, well, there are 3 things that you can do right now to get out of that overwhelm. And you tell them about those 3 things, and then they feel this fuzzy nice feeling that, wow, this is amazing, I can see this will work. They take notes, they implement it. But as soon as they listen to this, the next audio snippet comes up where you tackle another topic. Again, just 2-3 tips, keep them short, around 5 minutes, and that will increase your credibility. And those who want more help, and I would say at the end of some of these audio snippets, I would say that if you want my personal help, click on the link below, give them a call to action to connect with you and get a free session, or a paid session. I don't do free sessions. I'm less of a
Yes,
good man than Mike.
absolutely, EG. You do that every single one, and it's mobile. So in many countries like India, I'm sure many people get their internet through their mobile phone. I imagine, isn't that correct, Preetha? And so this is a perfect way to be able to reach massive audience wherever you are or wherever they are in the world.
Yeah. So absolutely. Priceless ideas, Mike and EG. Looking forward to connect. Good. And thanks so much, Mike, for the information. SoundCloud sounds very interesting.
Oh God, I don't know. Is this still listening?
Well, just ask your question. Let's see if we can hear it. But anyway, yeah, just please type it in, because yeah, I could not hear it. You sound like from really far, like from the bottom of a well. Ok, Corina. Corina Lungu, bună ziua! Ce faceți?
Bună ziua, hi.
Bine ați venit. So go ahead, what's your question?
Hi, well, question, statements, clarifications, kind of going back to Dan's question about how the book actually works. And Mike answered about the first phase is the interview, it's fine, it's clear. And then the second one is coming up with those chapters. Based on what I hear, there's a question and also an assumption. The question would be, what would be in those chapters? What I understand so far is that this book kind of sounds, because it's a sound, like a website. And I wanted to know if I'm correct or not. You would have stuff about your services, stuff about yourself, maybe something about how you can help your customers, maybe even testimonials. I'm not sure, but it looks like it's the content, very similar to a website. Let's say the essence of your website. And I want to know if that's what's going to be in those chapters, or something else, or if there are different ways of doing it.
Yes, there's many different ways of doing it. So let's talk about that for a second. I would say the best way to look at it is like a quick summary of your LinkedIn profile. Ideally, it should be short. So what I suggest, and the neat thing about SoundCloud and the flexibility of it, is that you and I could create, say, the first chapter, the top 5 things you need to know about, your topic. But then once I post that onto SoundCloud for you, you can then every day or every week go on and add, because once they hear that first chapter, that first impression, it's an interview, it's professional, it's short, it's sweet, you get your foot in the door, they want to know more, then every day you can add chapters to your own book, because you will have your own SoundCloud channel. This is not merely a recording system. It is an online website. You can put on your own website. It's your mobile presence. It's so flexible. And I will provide coaching, teaching, training about how to use the link or how to use the code to embed it in your, as posts or your blog or, on your website. It's just such a flexible tool. But the main thing that you want to do is to keep the introduction short. So that's why I would say, we'll pick kind of the top 5 things that people want to know, or you think should know, or that they want. So we make that great first impression, great book cover, possibly as featured on a highly edited first chapter. And then we say, now that you know me, now let's get to know each other. Now I'm going to let my hair down, and in my other chapters, we're going to talk about this or that or have fun, kind of like a webinar like EG is doing right now. So it's a great flexible tool. It takes the pressure off you. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a proofreader. You don't have to have people typo here. There, people expect audio to be much more loose and friendly. So it's a great way to go.
You would actually put your, so yeah, you can do it many ways. Whatever you think is your best way to show how you can help, the best way to draw your ideal client into your world. So you put your best foot forward in that audiobook. And Mike said that it could be your ally profile summary. Well, if you have a great ally profile, definitely yes. And if you don't, then you should put whatever you will put in this audiobook, create an LI profile based on it. So I believe that in about 5 minutes we'll be kicked off the call, and hopefully I'm wrong. And I was trying to go to webinar, see if I can extend it. So make sure that you get with Mike together, and his email again is mike@bigideasexpress.com.
Yes.
And
I'm more than happy to talk to anybody, just answer more questions for you, find out about your timing, or just anything at all. So we do have a limited time here, but I'm more than happy to put additional time in with you one-on-one.
Let's see, can we see some examples of such as these books created with the help of Mike?
Yeah, I will do that. Anybody who wants to contact me, I will send you my email with my audiobook in the cover, or in my signature rather. And by the way, we're having a local meetup on the 13th. I am going to, in fact, I've invited EG to do a little segment for us, and we may have him live through the internet at our in-person meetup, but I'm going to record it on SoundCloud, and I'm happy to send that to anybody too. So there's just so many ways and means to work with the new media. But yeah, I have other samples, and I have incredible testimonials about, the targeted leads from some of the most successful top earners in coaching. So happy to share information and answer any questions at all.
Yeah. So just send Mike an email, and he will send you links to samples. So I have a great question here. I hope we can answer it quickly. So how is this different than a podcast, other than the fact that it has a picture attached to it? Let me answer that first. The way it's different, if you do a podcast, you just do it based on the knowledge that is limited to you: marketing, client attraction, promotion, sales. So you just do it. You just do it the Nike way. You just do it. But when you do it with Mike, he actually coaches you to make it into an amazing way to tell your story to the world, help you create your signature story that then you can share with the world proudly. That will generate you leads and clients. So that's how it's different. Anybody can do a podcast. You can just go, Mike gave you the URL, you can just go and start it. Actually, you should. Everybody should. But if you want to create your signature story, then Mike can help you with that. Mike, did I summarize that well? Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, like I say, I'm not to brag, but just to point out, I am a 2-time Peabody Award-winning documentary director through editing and questioning and listening and finding the best story. It's a much more targeted, direct response approach to opening doors. So you have to have the right content, but I don't care how good your content is. If nobody knows about it, nothing's going to happen. And you have to have the right distribution. But if you have the right distribution but the wrong content, the distribution of podcast doesn't make anybody buy anything or do anything. It just delivers it. And it's like a computer program. It's garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have the right motivating message, you can do all the podcasts in the world, but it's not going to make anybody do anything. So you have to have those two things in the right combination, done properly and professionally in a motivating way. And if you have the experience, then you can really make that, take you to a whole nother level. And that's what I want to see, is help people understand it's a business. It's not easy, but if you have the experience, it can take you to the next level.
Yes, and so Wendy says, I have so many stories, I don't know where to start. How do you decide? Depends on what is relevant to the listener. Well, this is not like a story. This is your signature story, and it can go in many different ways, Wendy. The key with this is two questions. How do I reach my ideal client with the message? So once they click on it and they listen to it, they feel connected to the message. They say, right away they slap themselves on the forehead and they say, wow, dang, that's exactly me. Let's say your podcast audio book starts with a question or 2-3 questions, and they say, wow, that's me. And then you go into some solutions or some helpful advice or whatever, and then you invite them to connect with you. So this is a great, like when going fishing, you bring the best lure with you, the best bait with you. You don't go fishing with a hook without bait or with some guesswork, because then you don't catch anything. So this is your way to put your best foot forward, attract the clients into your world. And that's what Mike is for, that he helps you formulate it in a way that it will be most effective.
And to kind of add to that fishing metaphor, that's absolutely true. That part of the interview is to find out who's your avatar client, and then we figure out which of your stories is the best one to tell them, to give them what they want. And in the targeting, that's part of the research. If you had I think they call it fish sonar or something. They find out where the fish are. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to drop the bait deeper or out of the sun or in the shadows. You have to go to a different fishing hole. And when you have a system, then you can test, see what the reaction is, observe it, adjust it accordingly, and then expand according to the market. Because what EG is about, and it's great sound advice, like any small business, you want to get to the shortest path to cash flow in the least amount of time with the least risk. Get the cash coming into your cash drawer so you can start to grow your company out of income. And the nice thing about our approach, I call it earn while you learn. So while you are getting market research and market feedback, and that's just a fancy term for, if you're at a flea market, you look around, if you're selling anti-aging cream, who there would be somebody you'd want to talk to? It's pretty simple. And then when you keep things simple like that, and you get the right message in front of the right person, then you're going to start to catch the fish and pull them into your boat.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's very, very powerful, because he doesn't just create the audiobook for you, but he helps you hone in and help you do that research, find your ideal client, and find the shortest path to that client. So, cool. Preetha is asking, what would be the cost involved?
That really depends upon how long you want your book to be, a little bit about you, but we can do one as simple as, in fact, I was thinking of a way to really help your group, EG, and here's what I was thinking. Probably because I really see you've got a good group, they're asking really good questions, so this could be fun for everybody, I think. Here's what I was thinking. Is that if someone buys the research package, which is $697, and that includes everything, the interview that I do with you, the research, the targeting, the harvesting, the writing of the email after our interview for you, the mail merge email, their LinkedIn profile is inserted, the distribution of it for you, the mail merge distribution, sending you the CSV file of their name so you have that as well, along with the majority also of their phone number. Then, and if you try to create your own audio book, because I want to empower you to be able to do as much as you can comfortably by yourself, but I would make you this guarantee for EG's followers. If you are unable to create your own audio book, I will guarantee you that I will interview you and I will help you create your own audiobook on SoundCloud so that we can use that to reach out and distribute it to targeted LinkedIn leads that we harvest. I think that is the fastest path to short-term cash flow that I can think of, with guaranteed result of having that audiobook put to work in your signature and distributed out through email, which will have your signature in it with your audiobook. I think that is the fastest path to cash. Then once you have cash flow, then you start to grow from there, and there's lots of other ways to do that. And that would include my ongoing coaching as well, and working with EG to integrate everything together. I think that would be the best way I could probably help the most people, EG.
Mm-hmm. And repeat that price.
$697. And if somebody needs to do a payment or something like that to make it easy, just contact me, and I want to make it happen for you, so I'll help in any way I can.
So this would include the LinkedIn lead generation. So you do the research, you find the ideal clients, you sit down with them, you talk to them, you find out who their ideal client is, and then you do the research, you find 1,000 leads, and you help them create the email, and you send out these LinkedIn messages to the 1,000 people. Am I correct?
Yes, and I will coach them on how to try to create their own audiobook with my coaching. I'll send a video on how to sign up for SoundCloud. Try to do it on their own. If they can't do it on their own, I will guarantee them that I will help them. Now, this is $1,000 value. I will help them do it for no additional cost if they hire the research package, because these are people that I can see are savvy, they'll be fun to work with, they're thought leaders, and yeah, I'm willing to make that offer for your group.
That's a crazy good offer, because I was about to ask how much would it cost if I just if somebody wanted just the audiobook, but this one is so good that nobody should just take the audiobook, because you get the audiobook for free in this package.
And that will maybe allow some people that to also include the instant credibility for an additional $500. I will guarantee them the status of being as featured on NBC, CBS, ABC, and Fox as well. And that will give them the instant credibility with their book cover and their personal profile on LinkedIn.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anybody has any follow-up questions? If not, then we'll wrap it up. Congratulations for all of you who are hanging in there. I know we went over time, but this is some really, really cool info. So I know that I'm listening like crazy and took a bunch of notes. Corina is asking, what do you mean by as featured? And let me show you again here on the screen.
Yeah. As seen on, as featured, Karina.
Yeah. So when somebody comes to a website, they will have these as seen on or as featured on CBS, NBC, all of this. You will have a strip at the bottom of your header or anywhere you want to place it on your website. Also in your email signature, and you can have this as a LinkedIn signature also, like this book cover thingy. You can have those NBC, CNN, all of those. Stuff on there too. I think that's extremely powerful. Extremely powerful.
It would easily cost, without using the media shortcuts that we've developed, it would easily cost paying a publicist $2,000 a month, probably for a minimum of 3 or 4 months. So that's you're right. Right there, there's a good example of you've seen this featured on. Those are things that give you instant credibility. They really draw the eye to it. And those are the reasons that somebody hires you instead of somebody else.
And this package was offered to me during the years for around $3,500. I think somebody once offered it for $2,800, and I thought that was a good deal. So with Mike, you can get it for a fraction of that. So that's an amazing gift. And then Mike is already well accomplished. He doesn't need to make a killing on any of these. But none of us can spend our time giving away free stuff, and so. This is some amazing value, amazing value.
Well, it's kind of like I said earlier, and this is true for everybody listening as well.
Yeah.
The more important the work that you do is, the more important that it needs to make money to be able to continue and help more people. So, my thing is to get the costs down to the least amount of money and the least amount of time. I also want to save people a tremendous amount of time so they get their life back, spend more time with their family, their kids, doing other things that are, fun. We're coming up to summer. Get in your boat and go to the lake. That's what I'm going to be doing. Lake Berryessa. Having fun is what brings that energy, that enthusiasm into your audiobook, because that's what it's all about. Is genuine, authentic enthusiasm is going to bring you a lot more clients. So you need to have the time in your life, exercise and have fun and be social, not just spend all of your life on social media trying to get somebody's attention only to find out when they find you that they don't have any money. It's so much more time saving to target people where the people who have money are, and you can get to the right people in the right way who have money. And believe me, it's going to save a lot of time. I call it enjoyable marketing because it's fun instead of gruesome work, which is what it is for many people. I always say, I can't make it heavenly, but I can make it so that it's not hell on earth and make it more like a fun, enjoyable life on earth that we should all be enjoying.
Mike, thank you for your time. This was really, really amazing. Make sure, don't be shy if you're on the fence whether to take up Mike on his offer or not. Don't let him, be bored at home in his semi-retirement. Give him something to do. And no, he's a busy guy. He's a busy guy. He's always out there. But yeah. So keep him busy, and cool. And we'll do another one of these in a few weeks or a month or two. And meanwhile, guys, work on building your credibility and trust. And in the video that I shared with you last week, I had their step-by-step instructions for you. Many of you already implemented them, sent me emails, and thank you for that, and congratulations for those of you who took steps. And now you have here another piece of the puzzle that can add to your credibility and trust building. So yeah, make sure that you take Mike up on this. All right, that's it, guys. Mike, any last words?
No, I think we covered it. I'd rather do it one-to-one because there is no, one size fits all. I totally get that. I will listen to you and help you in any way I can. So I look forward to talking to anybody. I enjoy it. We'll have fun, no pressure, and we'll just share information, learn more, and become friends.
Yes, cool. All right, Preetha, have a good night. In India, it's very late already. And everyone else, have a productive rest of your day. And many of you, I will see you next week on Wednesday.